All right, let's get the meeting rolling here. We'll call the Shakopee City Council meeting for July 2nd, 2024 to order. Ask that the clerk take the roll.
Councilmember Delaney. Councilmember Whiting.
Here.
Councilmember Contreras. Here. Councilmember Lara.
Here.
Mayor Lehman.
Here. Item number 2, stand for the pledge, please.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have our new flag.
Okay, item number 3, approval of the agenda. Any changes to the agenda?
Yes, sir, we have a couple changes. For 3A, we're going to be remembering Mark Pink and having a moment of silence. 3B is a presentation of the LMC City of Excellence Award to Council. 3C, Representative Tabke will be here to talk with us about the legislative session. And 4E2 will be removed from the agenda, and you will see that at a later date.
Any other changes to the agenda from council? None? Mr. Lara?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as modified.
I'll second.
Councilor Contreras, discussion on the motion? Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Item 3A, let's take a moment of silence in memory of Mark Pink.
And if I may, Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'd like to read something about Mark.
Please.
It's with heavy hearts we remember Mark Pink, who passed away on June 26 while doing something that brought him joy, caring for our community's lawns. As a dedicated seasonal park maintenance laborer for the past 10 summers, Mark was not just a co-worker but a cherished member of our community. Mark approached every task with the same high level of care and commitment. His work ethic was unparalleled. Rain or shine, he showed up to work with a smile, ready to tackle the day's tasks with a vigor that inspired everyone around him. He was a beacon of positivity, always ready with a joke or a kind word. His infectious laughter and upbeat attitude brightened even the hottest, most grueling days of summer. Colleagues and community members alike cherished their interactions with Mark, finding in him a friend who was always willing to lend an ear or a helping hand. One of Mark's most admirable traits was his unwavering sense of responsibility. He treated every job, big or small, with the same level of importance. He took ownership of his work, and his sense of duty was a lesson to all who had the privilege of working aside him. Mark's legacy is one of hard work, kindness, and community spirit. He had a unique ability to bring people together, fostering a sense of camaraderie among the summer crew that will be sorely missed. His fellow workers recall how Mark made every day enjoyable, often turning mundane tasks into moments of shared laughter and connections. As we mourn the loss of Mark Pink, we also celebrate the life he lived and the indelible mark he left on our community. Our city's green spaces will forever bear the imprint of his dedication and love. We extend our deepest condolences to Mark's family. Mark's impact reached far and wide, touching the lives of many who will always remember him with fondness and respect. His spirit will live on in the lush greenery he lovingly tended and in the memories of all who had the privilege of knowing him. Rest in peace, Mark. Your legacy of hard work, kindness, and community spirit will never be forgotten.
Thank you, Mr. Reynolds. And may I just add our deepest thoughts, prayers, and condolences to his family, friends, and co-workers. Anybody else? Okay. Item 3B. These microphones working? Test, yes?
Yes, sir.
Item 3B, League of Minnesota Cities Award for the City of Shakopee.
Well, Mayor, members of council, let me read excerpts from the League of Minnesota Cities press release on this particular matter. The City of Shakopee received the League of Minnesota Cities 2024 City of Excellence Award for the 300,000-plus population category at the League's annual conference in Rochester. Shakopee was honored for its taxpayer receipt program. Shakopee's finance department began using a budget board and Polkel's taxpayer receipt tool to be more transparent about city finances with community members. The board explains where tax funds will be used in the upcoming fiscal year, compares Shakopee's taxes to surrounding cities' taxes, and shows the monthly cost of city services compared to community members' other utility bills. The receipt tool breaks down residents' property tax amounts into easily readable receipts. In 2024, the Finance Department took the initiative one step further by teaming up with the city's Communications Department and creating a video to increase awareness about the city's tax receipt tools. The City of Excellence Awards are given annually by the League of Minnesota Cities in 3 population categories and 1 topical category. The awards recognize cities for outstanding programs or projects. Well, we're very delighted, obviously, to have been recognized by the League, and we've had this board in place for some time now, but every year we update it and make it look a little more interesting. Nate's worked hard on it the last couple of years. And then as the award announcement said, we went even further, and we actually teamed up with our communications department and produced an interesting, humorous video.
We love living in Minnesota, especially Shakopee. But let's be real, there are some difficult things about living in the land of 10,000 lakes. Like deciding which family's hot dish is better, being the one to take the last bite of donut in the break room, or keeping the faith with the Vikings. But you know what isn't difficult about living in Shakopee? Finding your property tax receipt. Just go to shakopeemn.gov/tax receipt, put in your home's assessed value, and immediately get an unofficial breakdown of your property tax amount. You can even click to get more information on where your tax dollars are being used. It really is that simple, unlike 169 at rush hour. Visit shakopeemn.gov/tax receipt to view your property tax receipt today.
This project is all about communication. It's all about making sure that our residents understand what we're trying to do and how we spend their money. A lot of times residents don't have that even fundamental understanding.
Our goal with this project was to make the idea of taxes more relatable to people, in that they can compare what they pay in taxes to what they might pay to the internet company or for their phone bill, things that they're used to doing.
So the property taxpayer receipt tool, which is available on our website, is actually very easy to use. It only asks a simple question of how much is the taxable market value of your home, which there's a link to the county website where you can pull that information if you don't have your tax statement with you. You simply put in that dollar amount and hit go, and it'll actually spit out a itemized receipt for each of the services. So very easy to use, and under 2 clicks you can get a taxpayer receipt that's specific how much you're paying for your home.
We have a budget board, which is very easy for me to take out into the community and articulate something very clearly as to what we're doing with people's tax dollars. And then we also had a comedic video that was produced that clearly was trying to find a different way to reach people.
The video itself has been very well received. So we were looking for a way to really, it's when you wake up in the morning, the last thing you're thinking about is, how much am I paying for city's budget or financial information?
So the video aspect of this whole project really was just how can we bring that to life in a way that isn't just a, hey, go to this link and plug in your amount and see what you get. You really can't understate the importance of humor. We know from all sorts of media that we take in, books we read, that humor is something that sticks with people, and it's an emotional response when you laugh at something. And so anytime you can create an emotional response in somebody else, they're more likely to remember what you were talking about.
It really is that simple, unlike 169 at rush hour.
I think one of the benefits from a city perspective is now we can talk about the value that residents are getting for their city services now that they're able to put, a dollar to exactly how much they're paying for each one of those city services, whether it's parks, public works, police, community center, ice arena, just all the various functions of city government.
All right. We can't do any of this without council support. We have spent the last decade trying to be innovative. And being innovative means sometimes pushing the envelope a little bit and sometimes failing. And this council has been very willing to allow staff, whether it be in the police department with some of their initiatives or whether it is elsewhere, has allowed us to be innovative and try things that are different and new and try to push the boundaries in a respectful way of what cities can and should do. And we're exceptionally proud of that. This award is your award, frankly. You are the ones that have supported us in these efforts. And with that, Mr. Mayor and members of council, I'm proud to present you with the City of Excellence Award to the City of Shakopee for its Financial Transparent Initiative.
Woohoo.
There you go, sir.
Thank you, sir. Put that right here. I would say it's a very cool project, and it came out really well. Well done by staff, absolutely, and it is a very cool tool. It's amazing that what our finance department can do with them 1960s abacus that they use. I was going to get them a new one, but I don't want to put taboo on where we're at, so I guess we'll let you keep using that one. Maybe refresh the paint so you make sure your dollars are accurate to the color. Mr. Whiting.
I just want to thank staff. It's innovative, yes, but the level of professionalism in the production is great. So thank you. You make us look good every day.
Thank you. That's all. Thank you so much for all your hard work. Yep, thanks.
Have we all used this tool?
I have used it, yeah.
I have too. Very, very, very good. Very, very good. Well done. Well done.
It's better than you use more electricity than your neighbor one, because I think I'm off the chart on that one.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Reynolds. Thank you, staff and council. Item 3C, we have Representative Brad Tabke in the audience here to give us a legislative update. Thank you, Representative Tabke, for being here tonight. Floor is yours, sir. Pull that microphone close up.
Name and address for the record. Oh, no.
You're going to have to get that mic close.
Am I not good?
That's better.
That's better? Okay.
It's not connected to the table, so it's just heavy bass. There you go.
There you go.
Got it. New building. I'm still not used to all the things. But so thanks, everybody, for having me tonight. Brad Tabke, a state representative for 54A. And that covers, just so everybody knows, vast majority of Shakopee except for Dean Lakes area and then also some of Jackson Township as well. And so I had fully intended to go home before the meeting and dress more like an adult this evening, but I ended up talking to Steve Clay, former council member Steve Clay, for quite some time tonight while I was door knocking, and so Steve and I in a room can chat. So those of you that remember Steve, it was really good to catch up with him, and so it was good. But thanks everybody for all the work that you're doing. City of Shakopee is doing a really, really great job. Super proud of where everybody's at right now, and it's great seeing everybody. And so we just in May finished up legislative session, and this session was very different than the 2023 session. This session was more notable for the things that thankfully, and some of them not thankfully, didn't get done, was more this session. And so over the course of the last 2 years, we have put significant investments from a state level, making sure that we're helping to keep property taxes low and working on that direction, having $2 million into public safety in Shakopee. There's $16 million into the schools, which I obviously understand that is not directly responsible here, but just lots and lots of work has gone into these last 2 years. And so I know that there have been a lot of questions and a lot of things going on, so I just wanted to come tonight and answer any questions that people have about what's going on, and then just also talk about the things that we did get done. And so we've got, I got to pull my list out just to make sure I don't miss anything here for everybody. But we have, in the last 2 years, we got the Shakopee TIF district passed so that we are able to develop the sandpit land that we there are $2 million for public safety. We got a social district passed for Shakopee. We have the bonding money last year for the riverbank stabilization that passed, which is in process now, which is a really great thing. School investments, really big there. And then this year, I know there are a number of things that Shakopee was concerned about that were happening at the state level. And I was, as an assistant majority leader, the speaker kind of put me in charge of killing a lot of hopes and dreams of different members this year. And so that was a different role for me to play than I normally am, but I was able to wield that well. And so a lot of things that you guys were concerned about from this level didn't move forward this year. And doesn't mean that they're bad things. It means that needs more time and needs to work on more things around the missing middle housing. And there's a lot of work that's really important that can and should get done there, but it needs more time to continue moving forward, and just a lot of other pieces like that. So I'm appreciate everybody's time. I'm really excited about where things are going and what we've been able to accomplish together. And so I'm really excited about where things are going in the future. So just happy to answer any questions that people have. And if you have specific issues or items that we can work on together, happy to continue doing that.
Questions of Representative Tabke? Mr. Whiting?
Thank you. In the past, you've been a great support, obviously, everything in Shakopee, but of the Innovation Hub. And that was a part of our bonding request that never did materialize last year. What's the hopes and dreams that coming around again?
Yeah, that is a...
Is that one you killed on the side, or?
Not one I killed. No, that one was really, really frustrating. There's so the bonding bill didn't get done this year, and there are a variety of reasons for why that happened. But it absolutely would have been in the bonding bill. It was in the bonding bill if the votes to the House. All bonding bills have to start in the House. So capital investment bills have to start in the House, and they need a 2/3 majority. So we need more votes than just Democrats or Republicans have on their own, and there was not a final deal that was ever to be made. And I was actually just talking to a constituent about that today as to why that got done, and we can go into lots of details if you want, but it's something that our project was really high on the list, one that a lot of folks wanted to get done, and it is a really good chance of getting done next year if there's a bonding bill.
Cool, thanks.
Anybody else?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Could you talk to us a little bit about the social district and how or where it's supposed to be used? Just a little more about it, please.
Yeah, so the social district is something that back while I was mayor, we started working on back when, it reminded me when we had the floods, and so City of Shakopee worked really hard. John Schmidt, before I became mayor, Matt worked really hard, Mayor Lehman, sorry Matt, worked really hard on making sure that we got that bridge elevated out of the floodplain. And so before that opened up, so back in 2013, we had massive floods in June of 2013, just like we had this year, and it cut everything off. And so all of our downtown businesses were basically stranded in Shakopee. And so we had done a lot of programs downtown, and we basically, I'm not entirely sure, it's a little sketchy whether this was 100% legal to do or not, but we shut down all the streets, and Jim, you can just stay over there. And we had, the downtown was open, so everybody was able to go around and have drinks that were going back and forth between businesses and out for events and things that were happening just to get people downtown and experiencing what great things that we had. And so that was the beginning of the concept of the social district. And so that's where we took that. And so I know that there's talk around going at Canterbury. I know there's some talk about it going around downtown Shakopee, and I don't think there's any limitations as to how that goes. My intent was for it to be either downtown or both places, but that's up to you guys. You get to decide what you want. I think there would be some extremely disappointed downtown business owners if that didn't happen downtown, but it's your guys' call as to how you want to use it. We will be one of 3 places in the state to be able to utilize this mechanism, and it was significant personal political capital to get this one done. We had a lot of work to get where we needed to in order to get this one done for Shakopee. So I think it's going to be a really, however you choose to utilize it, it will be a really, really great amenity and a really great way for people who live in Shakopee and folks who are coming to Shakopee for all the great things that we have to really experience our community in a different way than they're able to do most anywhere else in the state.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
So since we're just talking about social districts, I just want to say thank you. We're going to be really excited to see how this all pans out for us here. And then just to iterate what Councilmember Whiting said about the hub, that is something that's on kind of the top of my list in terms of importance of seeing that we get some state funding for that as well, since it's a very important project for us here. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Lara. Anybody else?
I just want to say thank you for all the work you do for the city. I know I see you out and about at the different activities and also downtown at your office, so thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not expecting an answer tonight because I know it would take a while to put the data together, but there's a lot of talk about the $16 billion surplus being spent and then an additional $10 billion in taxes being raised. It'd be nice after we just had our presentation of how the dollars broke out, where all that went to. So if you could steer me to where I could get that information, that would.
Does he get to read it
that would
before
be
he signs
good.
it?
Well, I can give you, obviously a dollar for dollar account I can't give you off the top of my head, but the big chunks of things were that $3 billion went into education, $2 billion went into healthcare, $2 billion were left on the bottom line for future use. We filled up the rainy day fund, we filled up the emergency services fund, then there was also $3 billion that went to the largest tax cut in the state of Minnesota history, and so that is the vast majority of the things. We had I forget, it was $1 billion or so that went into rebates where everybody got a check, which I still think was a silly thing to do, but that's what we did anyway. And so that was there. Their significant amount of money went into public safety and into communications. And so then the future taxing pieces of that are that our goal in 2023 session was to make sure that we are focusing on the future of Minnesota, and so the generations of Minnesotans benefit from where we're at, and so that the number is widely disputed, the future tax amount. So it all depends on what you're talking about for the time frame and for different pieces of the economy as to how that goes. But so like Shakopee has the homestead tax credit this year has grown dramatically. So people will pay less on their property taxes for houses that are $515,000 or less, and they are already seeing benefits of that. And so that's where that money went to. Is it went to making sure that we are focused on the future of Minnesota and that we are investing in the things that we need to make sure that that happens and that that works well, and that public safety and emulating a lot of things that Chief Tate is doing in Shakopee and moving those forward. That's where the vast majority of that money went to. And then the future side of things is people had, we'll take home health care nurses and those kinds of people who are caring for our elderly and folks that are dying. We're making $11 an hour, and that's just unacceptable. You can't have people who are making very little in really, really important jobs. And so those jobs that are state finance jobs and work there, we made sure that we're pulling those up to living wages. And so a lot of those had significant increases from $13 to $15 an hour up to $20 an hour for working, taking care of our elderly folks. We put $2 million into Shakopee nursing homes because we had a huge hole in how nursing homes were getting funded. So I could go on and on for quite some time. It's a laundry list of things, but the most important thing, at least from my perspective, that I want everybody to make sure is that that money was used to take care of Minnesotans and to take care of people, and it didn't go to the most wealthy folks. It didn't go to corporations. It went to making sure that we're able to improve people's lives on a day-to-day basis, and that's what I work to do. And it's not all perfect, and it's not all rosy, but that's what we try to get done.
It's sausage making, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
The the delivery tax that just started yesterday, I think I read that's going into roads that the delivery trucks are driving on, right?
There's a direct nexus between the increase in not just delivery trucks, but like the gig economy has very much increased the number of folks who are driving their own personal cars for Amazon deliveries and for other things like that, and for Target deliveries and those types of things. And so those are a direct impact on all of our local roads. And so there was a huge influx of money that we put in from the 23 session that's ongoing money into local roads and bridges. And so that is what's funding that segment. And so it's, just to be clear, on the delivery fee is, it's only on deliveries that are over $100. And I forget exactly what the number ended up as, but I think it's 50 cents maybe on a $100 delivery.
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, so it's over $100, and so that's the delivery fee there, and that's a direct result of needing ways to make sure that we're taking care of local roads.
And the projection is about 200 million.
It's
roughly,
way south of that.
to go
no.
back into. Well, isn't it supposed to raise about 186? I read today, 186 million over a period of time to put back into the roads.
Okay, close enough.
Yes, sir.
Do you know, I mean, you might not know this, but how is that going to get divvied up in terms of cities with us having a Amazon hub and we have a huge FedEx hub? Are cities that have bigger hubs like that going to see more dollars for those road wear and tears, or do you know how that's going to get divvied up?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so there is a current formula that is used, and I don't remember exactly how that formula works. I can find it and I can get it for you. But what this does is adds more money into that pool. So it doesn't change the formula based on where there's more industrial, commercial activity or anything like that specifically. And so it goes more money into the formula that trickles through to counties, to cities, to they're even divided into large cities, small cities, townships, and I missed one in there, but I forget what it was. So yeah, it just expands that pool.
That would be the state aid fund?
Aid
road fund, I think it's called. I think our engineer is shaking his head no, but.
It is the Transportation Advancement Account is where that money flows through.
Okay.
So the TAA.
All right. Anybody else? Anything you want from us?
No, I just want to say thanks again. You guys are killing it, and really proud of the things that are going on in Shakopee and just the amount of extraordinary, not just events, but just like the engagement of citizens of Shakopee, people who live here who are engaging with the city, and like your tax calculator told me.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Making it easier for people to be part of what we're doing, because as you remember, like the city used to be a black hole of nobody knew what was happening here, and you guys are changing that, and it's really great to see all the work everybody's doing, and I'm just really proud of it and happy as a taxpayer and as a resident what's happening with that. So you guys are doing a great job, and I just really appreciate you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Representative Tapke. We appreciate you stopping in.
I'll wear like adult pants next time. So thank you.
You got the right shirt on.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, that takes us to item number 4, consent business. Mr. Whiting?
I'll make a motion to move the consent business as presented if nobody else has anything to take off.
I'm going to remove 4A2.
4A2.
Any other changes to the consent agenda?
None.
By my motion to include 4A2.
Is there a second?
I will second.
Any discussion on the motion? Mr. Reynolds, read the consent agenda, please.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, these are the consent agenda items for July 2nd of 2024. 4A1 are the City Council minutes. 4A3 is the Minnesota Department of Public Safety's Pathways to Policing Program Grant Award Amendment. 4B1 approves a change order for Sand Venture water main improvements. 4B2 approves a partial release of escrow and payment agreement for Southbridge 3rd Edition. 4B3 awards a contract for the downtown ADA lighting and tree rehab project. 4C1 is the Scott County Fire Service and Equipment Mutual Aid Agreement. 4C2 hires and promotes 3 full-time fire captains. 4D1 is the 2024-2025 Shakopee Youth Hockey Association concession agreement. 4D2 is the Scott County Work Experience Program contract, and 4E1 is a registered land survey request for Culver's Restaurant.
Thank you, Mr. Reynolds. That was deleted. Any discussion on the motion from council?
No discussion.
Discussion on this end? Call the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 5. Recognition of involved citizens, residents of Shakopee on an item that is not on our agenda. If you're here for an item that is not on our agenda, now would be the time to step up to the table and address the city council. So if you're here for an item not on our agenda, now would be that time. I'm seeing none. So we'll move on. Item number 6, business removed from consent. I removed, what did I do with it? I lost it.
482.
Yeah, I 4A2 I removed simply because the one proposed budget amendment of the software, IT software implementation. As council already knows, I voted against that before. I wanted it to be funded out of the IT fund, internal fund that we created, in my view, for that purpose. So it doesn't have spikes into the general levy. And by doing this, we're putting that cost into the general levy instead of the internal fund for the IT. So I know I lost that battle last time, but I'm going to be consistent with myself. So Mr. Delaney, then Mr. Whiting. Yes,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
It does make a good question. Why does this not come out of the IT budget?
So what the budget amendment is doing, Mayor and Council, what the budget amendment is doing is actually moving this into the IT fund. So this was included within our 2024 budget, so it was part of that levy. Because the project's being delayed, we want to keep those funds available for the project if it were to proceed next year. So we're moving these funds, doing a budget amendment to move these funds to the IT fund, which would then keep it in that fund and have it available for next year if we were to move forward.
Okay, so then my question would be, when we look at the next budget cycle, will we be lowering that dollar amount that we saw in 24 of 251?
That is correct. So this was a one-time cost in the 2024 budget, so it would be lowered by that amount for next year.
All right.
And if the project were to proceed in the future, we'd have the money set aside for it. We wouldn't have to re-levy for that project.
Providing it's not more.
Right.
Correct.
And if it's less, then the IT fund just has a little bit better of a cushion for
Something else.
any other unexpecteds. Okay, very good. Anything else? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Nice job, you guys convinced me.
Oh, did we make the
Oh,
motion?
we did not make a motion.
We'll make that motion. You
There you go.
second that one?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you.
Now it has a motion.
See you earning your money tonight, Mr. Thompson.
Yeah, I didn't remember one either, but
I know, I was like, wait a second, there was no motion.
Motion by Councilor Whiting, seconded by Councilor Contreras. Any discussion on the motion?
None.
Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 7, recess for Economic Authority meeting. Motion would be in order.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to recess to the Economic Development Authority meeting.
Second by Mr. Delaney. Discussion on the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. We are recessed to the EDA. Madam President, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'll call to order the Shakopee Economic Development Authority meeting for July 2nd, 2024. Ms. Laura, if you could please make note of our staff tonight. And that was number 1. So number 2, approval of the agenda.
President, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
We have a motion by Commissioner Lara. Do we have a second on that? Second. Delaney. We have Commissioner Delaney. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Number 3, we have our consent business. And on there, we have the EDA minutes. Does anybody have any questions on our EDA minutes?
None.
Otherwise, go
I'll
ahead.
make a motion to approve the minutes and the consent business.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Whiting and a second by Lara. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Number 4, we have the approval of a 1-year extension for concrete mobility in River City Center. Any questions? Do we need Mr. Kursky to come up and... Hello.
Good evening, Madam President and board members. So this tenant renews on an annual basis and actually pays 6 months in advance, so they already have given us a check for the next 6 months. So we're just renewing their lease for 1 year.
Yeah, go ahead.
Madam President, I'm wondering why just a 1 year or
I know.
not a longer duration?
Madam President and board members, that's their choice, and that's a space longer term I think will be used for maybe a restaurant or something. So I think we're fine with a 1 year lease. It gives us time to find a tenant.
Perfect, thank you. Any other questions from my commissioners here? No?
No.
What are the wishes of our commissioners for tonight on this?
I'll make a motion to approve the 1-year lease extension for concrete mobility and authorize the president and executive director to execute the necessary documents to extend the lease from July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025.
Second.
By Commissioner Whiting, thank you. We had 2 on that. All righties, thank you, Mr. Kursky. That was, it's always good to have, our good tenants, and if it's for that time, we'll work with it and keep on going. All in favor, any more discussion on that? Discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. Next up, a report, our EDA bill list. Does anybody have any questions on that? Yes.
What is the G Urban Companies LLC $25,000 for?
Someone can help me?
River City Center improvements.
Yeah, but it doesn't really say G Urban Companies LLC. If somebody could just send it out and let us know.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr.
Yeah,
Kursky, I think.
looking at Kursky right now, but I can certainly respond to that too after Kursky.
Madam President, board members, so that was deposits that we held for contractors on River City Center, so we held back funds to make sure they finished. That project's done, and there's been 10 or 15 payments back, but it was part of their original contract amount, so we withheld retainage to make sure there weren't any issues.
Thank you. Yep. Any other questions on that? All righties. Seeing none, we'll go to number 6. Yes, go ahead.
Madam President, I'll make a motion to adjourn to Tuesday, August 6th.
Here we go. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We are adjourned.
Thank you, Madam President. We'll reconvene the Shakopee City Council meeting. We are on item 9A, 9A1 actually. Shakopee Minnewacaton Intergovernmental Aid Agreement Renewal.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. I'm excited to bring this renewal agreement before you tonight. The last 2 times in 2016 and 2022, it was a consent item, but I think it's important, again, just to reiterate how important this agreement is, how far we've come since 2013 when this agreement, first time we had an agreement here. I think everyone has benefited from this agreement over the last decade plus now, both from a communication standpoint, service delivery standpoint. Things have been enhanced. I remember back in 2013, I think that's about when we started talking the community participate in Night to Unite. And I remember that first park and the event that we went to that night and what it's become today, I think is, that all started with this agreement and getting the ball rolling on that discussion. So I thank Bill Rudnicki a lot for the original agreement and continuing to move the ball forward here with what you have before you tonight. So the funds that we receive I can tell you are vital to our operations from a training equipment standpoint. They certainly have enhanced our overall service delivery. So we strongly encourage that this agreement be renewed again for another 4 years. And with that, I'll ask the tribal administrator and if the public safety administrator wants to talk.
Council and Mayor, thank you for having me up here. I will keep it very brief. First of all, on behalf of Chairman Cole Miller, Vice Chairwoman Natasha Hacker, and Secretary Treasurer Ashley Cornforth, we appreciate the opportunity of putting this agreement together. I'd like to thank all of your staff, from the police chief to the city administrator, in moving forward on this 4-year agreement. We feel like there's a great working relationship, and probably one thing that has come out of our relationship in the last couple of years is that every Monday we do a public safety call. It used to be just our public safety team led by Mona Doman, our public safety administrator, and the city of Prior Lake, but now in the last couple of years we've added the city of Shakopee there. It's very helpful to talk about some issues that are going on between the two cities and the tribe. Sometimes there's issues that kind of float around between those three governments. So I wanted to once again thank you for the support, thank you for allowing me to speak, and that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. And I would like to just add a small comment myself to the tribal administration and the leadership. Not only is this a good partnership, but we also have other partnerships, and some that come to mind would be the three-way partnership on Valley View Road, 83 stop signal light that's going on out there. That was a three-way deal, and all three of us have benefit from it. And there's many more things that we work together on. So it's good to have partners in your neighbors. Granted, we don't always agree on everything, but nobody ever does, including me and my wife. So that's it's nature of the beast, and it's great to be able to work with you folks. You're good to work with, tribal government and stuff. So we appreciate it. Anybody else? Mr. Whiting?
You know, I think you've said a lot, and I think the partnership and the communication is the key in these relationships. And with that, I would make a motion to renew the intergovernmental aid agreement.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Second by Councilor Contreras. Any discussion on the agreement? Any discussion?
No discussion.
Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Mr. Renicki, if you could send our best to your tribal leadership, we'd appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Mona.
10A, city bill list. Any questions on the bill list?
No questions for me.
Nope, not for me either.
Side. Good over here. Good over here. Okay. 10B, liaison reports. Mr. Delaney.
A 169 Coalition meeting happening Thursday at 1 o'clock. We'll talk over, we sent out surveys to all the coalition members. We got about 80% participation, which is good, so we'll start compiling those, and we're going to discuss through those results, or at least the return of the surveys this Thursday. As far as SPUC, AMI installation is ongoing. There was a hiccup. One of the residents had I guess the electric meter got dropped, the glass broke, and it wasn't cleaned up sufficiently. So SPUC did get called by the resident, and they responded. They were out there within an hour, so I'm going to put that out there. They were very responsive. And policy has changed to where if something like that does happen again, the AMI management will be informed, but also SPUC will be informed. That response was great. The resident actually gave SPUC a 10 out of 10 for customer service after that
How
happened.
did the glass get broke on the meter?
Dropped it.
They dropped it.
Installer broke it.
Installer broke it.
Oh, I see.
They run with broken glass, but you don't mess with it.
Let's see, as far as community outreach, opioid crisis panel discussion, that happened, we're at the community center. A lot of great partners there. It was a 4-panel discussion. Senator Pratt was there, Representative Tapke was there, our school board membership was there as far as Mr. Abidi. Jody, our county commissioner, Jody Brennan, was there. So that was a great discussion about opioid panels. Somali week kicked off soccer tournament. Got a chance to attend the opening ceremony, and then got a chance to attend the closing ceremony with the mayor. That was a nice crowd. They had filled out one side of the stadium and part of the other side. So hopefully that becomes a yearly event for the city. I didn't know it went over 10 days, but one thing I learned, I didn't know that was the kind of cap to the Somalian Independence Day celebration, which was a good find out. And that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Delaney. Mr. Whiting?
I have nothing to report.
Councilor Contreras?
Thank you. I have nothing to report there.
Councilor Lara?
I have nothing to report.
My only report, I guess, would be that I was asked to attend the closing ceremony of the soccer.
I heard it was fun.
Yeah, it was. Heavily attended. Good music. Don't know the words, but the beat was good. My message, they asked me to speak, and my message was, to the players, put the effort in, do your very best, be very good sportsmanship, and regardless of the numbers on the board at the end of the game, you are not only winners, but you have become leaders if you follow that model, because you will be teaching the younger kids how it's properly done. Well received by everybody. So that's my report. Mr. Reynolds?
2 items, Mr. Mayor. We'll have Chief Tate, who is also our Emergency Manager Director, talk a little bit about the flood, but as he's getting ready to do that, I did want to tell you about some more awards. Our communications team will collectively be taking home 5 awards from the Minnesota Association of Government Communicators. We do not know what level of those awards yet are. There is either bronze, silver, or the Northern Light Award. But we know that Deb Noble won for the 2023 Fire Department Annual Report. Andrew Coons won for the DIG, Court and Mason in the Morning, and the tax receipt video that you saw tonight. And Amanda McKnight won for the Shock the Halls Holiday Lights Contest, which I must say was Councilor Delaney's idea, and we tried to throw it together quickly, and Amanda did, and we got an award for it. So that was surprising. But there you go. We will let you know exactly what the level of those awards are. But as always, thank you for allowing staff to serve in this manner.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And with that, Chief Tate will talk a little bit about, you might have heard.
In the process.
Absolutely. You might have heard we've had a flood. I don't know if you picked up on that. But Chief Tate will talk a little bit about the activities and where we are today.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. I'll try and keep this pretty brief. Flooding is nothing new to Shakopee. It happens quite frequently. This one was a little higher than what we've seen. What we measured it at is 719.4, so it matches the 1993 flood. We think we crested sometime Friday around noon or maybe shortly thereafter. Most importantly, as of right now, our assessments are there is no public property, significant damage of any sort. We've done really good, I think, over the last decade and a half, 2 decades, I think, from a flood mitigation standpoint, really addressing certain areas in the community, most notably the lift station, and that's ongoing as well. There's a project that's going to take even the lowest part of the lift station up to, I think, 724 or 725, so we'll be in really good shape. There's actually very little damage countywide. I don't believe we're going to be in any type of disaster declaration. That said, I know there's a placeholder on the county board meeting next week for a disaster declaration. I don't know if they will actually do that or not. We're waiting to see what happens when the waters recede. If we're going to qualify for state or any federal funding, it's probably most likely going to rely on the DNR and any trail damage or significant washout damage that happens there. As a reminder, it's about $360,000 for the state that we would need uninsured public property to qualify. We're not going to hit that if everything just lowers and there's no damage. That would trigger a 50% reimbursement from the state. A little over double that is the federal threshold, and that would be 75% from a federal reimbursement, 25% from the state. So you'd be made whole on most of your expenses, all of them that would qualify. So we're tracking our expenses just in case, but right now we're in really, really good shape. I want to thank both the Public Works Department, everybody over at engineering that kept us going on elevations and did a lot of hard work. One of the things there's a couple things that are different from previous floods. Most notably is the bridge. We've noticed this with a few minor floods before, but taking out that old road
Causeway, yeah.
and putting it up higher, the water does definitely flow much smoother and faster through, and that has helped. It helped that the Mississippi wasn't as high and was able to take in more water from the Minnesota River. According to the state hydrologist, we were dry all winter, so there was a little room to go. I do want to address the rain that's in the forecast. As of this afternoon, the National Weather Service, the state hydrologists, all say this will not impact or raise the current levels. It will slow how fast it's going down. As you know, the rain floods tend to go up real fast and down real fast. As snow melts, you can predict a little bit easier. But we should be in good shape with the rain that is in the forecast. I think, just a couple things, again, that's a little bit different. You notice that Public Works worked really hard to put up a barrier around the playground equipment at Huber Park. In the past, we would have let it flood and let the wood chips and everything float down the river and replace them, but that is a different surface that is there, and when it gets that high, we now know in the future, we're gonna have to fortify that and bag that. We did get some questions from residents. Are you handing out sandbags? Do I need to be worried? Those types of things, typically around Bluff Avenue. We were able to show them they were gonna be okay based on the forecast and different flood lines that were predicted. So we were okay there. And again, obviously some businesses, Valley Fair, Dangerfields, the usual suspects and these types of things, but Shakopee weathers these very good. I will say just two soapbox issues. One, the sign caused a lot of headaches, a lot of consternation, and I think maybe some unnecessary fear. We know through our staff and the state that historic flood sign was at least 2 feet off. So we do need to do something different with that. It's not our sign. We don't own it. We're going to figure out who does. I'll be the first to take it down.
That was a serious safety and dangerous situation that sign posed to our citizens, and I think it needs to be removed, at least placed somewhere else.
Use access.
Because the people could have been killed.
Yeah.
People taking pictures, pulling over, driving slow. This was a good lesson there on that one, absolutely. I think it does need to be moved. It's fine to have and good to have a historical marker like that. People can see it and compare. It should be accurate, number one, and two, it shouldn't be in someplace on the bridge there where we had plenty of accidents on 101. Mm-hmm. You probably heard or saw a number of them. The roundabout on the north side of the river was highly congested, and we were stop and go along First Avenue quite a bit. There were some businesses that couldn't get their customers in or out because it was backed up specifically in the morning. So when those bridges close south of Shakopee, it has a large impact on our downtown, our roads, and that bridge that can get across there. So whatever we can do to get another reliable crossing south of Shakopee would be nice, and we'll take care of that sign one way or another. So. And then Public Works is going to leave the sandbags out at Huber Park over the weekend, just again, a precautionary thing, and also given the holiday weekend and everything, we'll have more people to take it down next week.
I want to thank staff for coming together and taking care of business to save that. It's a new park, and it's a special park, so thank you for that.
Yeah, I'd really like to recognize both the Public Works Department and the Engineering Department for all the work they did. Exceptional work by our award-winning Public Works crews, who, by the way, were just recognized by the Lions Club last week, Bill, and received an award from a local award from the Lions Club. So, and then engineering was great. They were out there. They were accurately measuring the water levels, probably for the first time, because we now have equipment that we can do that with. So that was tremendous as well. So very much thank Public Works and Engineering for all their hard work. Excellent job by both groups.
Mayor and Council, I did want to add one more thing. The Home Street Bridge, we are going to assess the river again tomorrow, whether or not that opens. Hopefully, we'll be able to open that back up tomorrow. That was personally my biggest concern, as the water level got close to the steel beams underneath. If a cottonwood or a big tree catches that, and then, debris jams have always kind of been our thorn in different areas in town, and those two bridges, that can change things real quickly. So we were constantly counting logs down there throughout this event. So I think by tomorrow we should be good.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Public Works. Thank you, Engineering.
Thank you.
I made my drive around just before the crest, and one of the stops I made was at the trailer park downtown. Met with a bunch of the residents that were right up against the water, and it was touching the skirting on one, but you still have 3.5, 4 feet before you actually hit the floor, and they were wondering. I told them, you're good. In an hour it's going to start going down, so you're in good shape. Mm-hmm. So they're happy to see somebody from the city. I did stop at L16. There's a couple of city folks down there doing some preemptive, I guess, pumping on the corner there, where put a plug in the line that comes off the river and stuff like that. So didn't waste a whole lot of their time, maybe five minutes. And yeah, pretty good shape. I was curious, so I had to drive out by the old 144, because that's a low spot too.
Yeah.
Where the old ferry bridge, for us old people, used to come across the river. And I was really surprised, because that is the lowest spot, and that usually goes under. And it didn't go under, so.
Causeway probably.
Telling, and I think we've got a lot more storage on the north side in the regional wildlife area because of that berm of the old road being down.
Yeah.
So it's got a lot more storage capacity, which is good for us too, so. Anything else? Thank you, Chief. Item number 11, other business.
None.
None.
I'm just going to ask, AI policy, I know some cities are starting to use AI for different things. I didn't know if our city was looking at doing that or not.
Yeah, we have been. I've actually used it very minimally on a couple of things, and have attended a couple of presentations on it. It certainly has the opportunity to really change the way we do things. But it's going to take some time for us to figure it all out and how that happens. There are some organizations that have memos written by AI at this point. I've had letters. I've used it to write letters. And it was just fascinating. I said, I need a letter for this, plugged in a few things, bam. 5 seconds later, I've got a letter, and I can edit it really quickly, and something that would take me 40 minutes to do, I was able to do in, literally 10. So there's a lot of opportunity there. Yes, we are, but more to come.
Thank you.
Be cautious not to bank 100% on it, that's for sure.
Yeah, AI won't be anything without the people behind it and, making sure that the things are actually correct. There are times where something's spit out and you look at it and like, well, that's not actually factual, and so you have to change things.
Any other business? Item number 12, is there a motion from council?
Nobody wants to go.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to adjourn to Tuesday, July 16th, 2024 at 7 p.m.
Second.
Discussion on the motion? Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. We're adjourned.